Tonight on Connecticut's news station, security ramping up at Jewish community centers across the state as the war in Israel continues. How law enforcement is stepping up.
A local school is in mourning tonight. A Windsor High School football player collapses during practice, and tonight friends are remembering the young man, who he was on and off the field. We'll bring you his story ahead.
And it's being called a crisis in Connecticut classrooms. We're breaking down the data from a new report that says students are seeing a major disconnect at school.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
As the fighting between Israel and Hamas continues with another violent day in the Middle East, back here at home, there are concerns in some communities over security. Thanks for joining us here on the news at 10. I'm Sarah Sanchez.
And I'm Brent Harden. Work is underway here in Connecticut to keep people safe at houses of worship, schools, and community centers. And that also includes rallies where tensions have at times been high between people showing solidarity with the people of Israel and others with the Palestinians.
Fox 61's Gabby Molina is live in West Hartford with the story tonight. Gabby.
Brent and Sarah, leaders of the Jewish community here in Connecticut say that they've been working closely with law enforcement, as well as taking other steps to make sure that people feel safe during what's been a very difficult time. As the war between Israel and Hamas goes on, the impacts continue to be felt locally.
I wouldn't say there's fear, but there's anxiety, there's awareness, there's alertness.
And while leaders say there have been no specific threats here in Connecticut, it is important to be prepared.
Whenever in the past the violence has broken out in the Middle East, we've seen an impact beyond the Middle East. We've seen Jewish communities targeted, unfortunately, and a rise in anti-Semitism.
The Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford has a community security director who serves Jewish institutions across the region, a position that was born out of a need for safety due to a recent rise in anti-Semitic incidents.
He's focusing on site assessments, on security training, on intelligence and law enforcement coordination. And so it's a very comprehensive effort that has already been in place for several years and is now serving us very well.
When the conflict in the Middle East escalated over the weekend, local leaders say one of the first things they did was reach out to law enforcement partners. Police seen outside of synagogues and Jewish centers on Wednesday in hopes of providing people with some peace of mind.
If we don't have safety, then we don't have peace of mind, and we don't have really anything as far as an operational level.
Rabbi Yosef Wolvovsky of the Chabad Jewish Center of Glastonbury says their security efforts also involved hired security and volunteers from the community.
People understand that there has to be rotations and there have to be a set of eyes. And so in addition to the hired help, in addition to the police department, we organically sort of organize the volunteer operations within our congregations.
On a federal level, this week lawmakers, including Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy, have called for more funding for security at places of worship. Connecticut recently received $3.2 million for 23 synagogues and churches to make security enhancements, a priority all the time.
People have to feel secure, and that's what we're focused on.
Here in West Hartford, the police department said in a statement that it's working with local, state, federal, and private sector partners and says that it stands ready to protect the community, including at their places of worship. It also asks that anybody report any threats to police. Live in West Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Gabby, thank you. And there are plenty of new developments out of Israel tonight. In the wake of the attacks, they have opted to form a temporary unity government as the battle against Hamas continues. We'll talk more about that, along with conditions in the Gaza Strip, later this hour at 10:30. All right, switching gears here, and time to take a first look at the forecast. And looks like we keep this beautiful fall weather until the weekend, and after that, maybe a little less beautiful.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's talk about today. Pleasant day out there.
There you go.
And temperatures aren't too bad, really, right now. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank here with the latest. Hi, Rachel.
Hi, 100%. It was beautiful out there today. We're looking at temperatures in the upper 60s to around 70 this afternoon, and I think we'll do it again tomorrow afternoon. We'll be a bit cooler on Friday, but overall, the next 2 days are looking bright and beautiful. Right now, we're seeing temperatures dropping back into the 50s and even some 40s, and we'll all kind of join the party in the 40s as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. You can see a system swirling in the upper levels of the atmosphere nearby and some showers associated with it, but it's too far away to impact us. So we stay dry and mostly clear as we head through the overnight hours. By daybreak, temperatures starting off in the 40s tomorrow, and I think we'll see more sunshine kind of right out of the gate. Today we we're battling some clouds to start off the day, but I think tomorrow is brighter overall. We're beginning in the 40s as we head towards lunchtime. Temperatures are near 60 degrees, and we'll see high temperatures climb into the upper 60s to near 70 degrees for another day. Again, a bit cooler on Friday. We are timing out some rain for the weekend. However, things are trending drier. We'll explain and talk about what that means for weekend plans coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Hearts are heavy in Windsor tonight, one day after the on-the-field collapse and death of a student athlete. We first brought you this story as breaking news at 10 last night, and we're learning more now about that student athlete. Elijah J. Mariano Rivera collapsed suddenly after football practice at Windsor High School. Teammates affectionately called the junior guard Big Texas, a tribute to where he was born, having recently moved to Windsor from the Lone Star State. In a short time, he made a big impact.
He was a great kid. Every time I scored on JV, he would lift me up, and now I don't got that no more.
He helped me out with my homework. For me, he was good like that. For me, like he didn't want to see nobody struggle in life at all. He was a good person.
Eli was just 15 years old, and his tragic death puts a new focus on student athlete safety here in Connecticut. And we have more on that coming up at 10:30.
The search continues for several stolen vehicles worth a combined $380,000. They were stolen from a dealership in South Windsor. The surveillance video shows 4 cars, including a Porsche, being taken from Mike and Tony Auto Sales on Route 5. Happened around 1 this morning. Police say multiple thieves entered by breaking a window.
These thieves they're very clever in the way that they access your building. They a lot of them scope out the building during the day. They come in, pose as customers.
Police say one of the stolen vehicles was used to ram the front gate open and then was abandoned on Edwin Road. Tracking hardware in one of the cars put it in New York City early this morning.
It's being called Connecticut's Unspoken Crisis. A new report by Dalio Education finds that 1 in 5 Connecticut young people are at risk or disconnected from education or employment. Fox
61's Jake Garcia joins us in studio with details on this report and how agencies across the state are responding. Jake.
Well, Brent and Sarah, the study looked at young people ages 14 to 26, determined the risk factor for that age group in order to see what communities can do across the state to support the state's youth to have a successful future.
There's a statewide crisis in Connecticut that impacts every town and city.
A new study by the nonprofit Dalio Education and the Boston Consulting Group found that 19% of young people in Connecticut ages 14 to 26 are at risk of being disconnected from education or employment.
Of the 119,000 young people, 63,000 are disconnected, and of that group, 12,000 are severely disconnected. They have no diploma, no job, and they may even be incarcerated.
The study also found last year 1 in 3 Connecticut high school students were at risk of not graduating on time. But experts hope this report that combines social services and criminal justice data could identify ways to help get young people back on track.
Putting those two processes together, you're much more likely to be able to do what I think we can all agree is a good goal, to have less crime going forward and more success among these young people who are starting off with the deck stacked against them.
Education experts also say this report highlights the need for support from the state and federal government.
We need to use this data to make the case to our legislators at both the state and federal level that continued support after the pandemic funding ends needs to be put into place for these very specific programs that do support our young people.
But others say this will take all of us to help address the root causes that make Connecticut's young people disconnected.
It is a collective societal failure in the state of Connecticut that is going to take a whole lot of people and a whole lot of resources coming together to figure out how to properly and very aggressively address this crisis.
Now, Dalio Education and the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities plan to go on various cities and towns across the state to help educate community members over the next several months about this topic. In studio, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, very important stuff there, Jake. Thank you. A lottery fever sweeping the nation once again, and it's no surprise considering the Powerball jackpot has swelled to the second largest in American history now. $1.73 billion on the line. That prize pool topped only by last November's $2.04 billion jackpot. And it's no accident that Powerball is the lottery to keep producing these massive pots. Your odds of winning are 1 in over 292 million. Now, tonight's drawing will take place at 10:59. You can watch it live on our sister station, the CW. You can also catch the winning numbers on the Fox 61 News at 11.